Welcome back to Hot Takes and Deep Dives. This is Jess. So before we get into Mikey Minden, Erika Jayne's creative director, choreographer, I have some news for you guys. This is something I've been debating doing for a while, but I decided that life is short. I've got some cute ideas. Why the hell not? I have finally created a Patreon for you guys. I really do value you guys, and based on our conversations, our DMs, your comments, and I want to give you more. I want to give you more in the most satisfying way. So here's the deal. To start, what you can do is just go to patreon.com/hot-takes-deep-dives. Patreon.com/hot-takes-deep-dives. To start, and I'm sure this will grow over time, but this is just rough sketch idea to start. I'm offering 2 or 3 bonus episodes a month. This is just depending on the tier that you choose. And here's the content that I'm thinking about. I'm excited to hear your opinions, what you want me to do, your wish lists, ideas. Here's what I'm thinking. Number 1, and this is going to be the first thing that's available to you, behind the scenes of interviews with Bravo celebrities, including what was said before and after the recording of the episodes. That is there waiting for you when you subscribe right now. You'll immediately get access to that. And I explain how you can, in that Patreon episode, that first bonus one, I explain to you how you can subscribe to the feed automatically within the Apple Podcast app. And it just appears right in your regular feed, like a new episode coming through. So that's first idea that I have. It's already done, right in there for you. More ideas I have for Patreon. I talked to Andy Bellotti, Astrology with Andy, and we've been talking about doing more top 10 song list debate episodes for artists that we've not yet covered. And we want to do artists that you're really invested in. He really wants to do Mariah. So I think we're going to do that as like our first little bonus top 10 debate episode. But tell us what artists you're into. Do you want to do Beyonce? Like, let us know via DM. And if we both genuinely are obsessed with that artist, we'll be totally down to do it. So there's that. Andy I was just talking to him about this. He also said that he would love to do more astrology episodes for celebrities that are like in the news. So for example, if we were to do it right now, we definitely would have him read the charts of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, because that's everything that's dominating the news right now. So that's something we can do. What else? I'm more than happy to talk about TV shows, music, documentaries, and just general life updates, maybe some stories that I've not yet shared on the podcast of my interaction with celebrities and Bravo celebrities. I do have a Bethany story that I've never shared publicly anywhere, and maybe this is the place to do it. Now, at a higher tier, you'll get a 3rd monthly Q&A bonus episode where I'll open it up. I'll answer anything you want. I'll take questions via DM, or there's a thing in Patreon where you can just write in, submit a question. I'm totally open to suggestions. DM me, JessXNYC, or Hot Takes Deep Dives. Let's chat. Let's brainstorm. I want to make it as fun and juicy and worthwhile for you guys to subscribe. Do you want something else Andy and I talked about was us recapping, or at least giving us our observations and commentary from our favorite RHOBH season 1 and season 2 episodes, because that's something that we joke a lot about, just in our private texts and voice memos to each other. That's something we would totally love to do for you guys. So bonus episodes, just go to patreon.com/hot-takes-deep-dives. There's already one in there. Once you subscribe, you can get access to that first one where I give behind the scenes of interviews. All right, let's get into today's episode, and hope to see you guys there. Welcome back to Hot Takes and Deep Dives. And I can't believe it, but I'm finally sitting with a man that I've been trying to get on the podcast for quite some time. Guys, please welcome the one, the only, Mr. Mikey Minden. Hey, Mikey.
Aw, hi. Thank you so much for that fabulous intro. I mean, I'm so glad that we, like you said, are finally here, sitting down, getting to take a deep dive into all things you want to know about Mr. Mikey motherfucking Minden.
I mean, where are you right now? Like, are you just home in LA?
I'm actually on set right now with
Ooh,
something very cool, but I'm actually on a rooftop looking over the skyline of Hollywood proper. So I have a great view. I have the sunshine out, the wind's blowing, and me and you are finally getting to chat.
I love it. I guess I mean, listen, we're going to get into, I really want to go deep on Beverly Hills and Erika Jayne, but
Mhm.
I am really curious. Like, I want to know, like, your background. I mean, did you grow up as like just a very gifted dancer? Like, how did you get into dance and choreography? Like,
So I was born and raised in the heart of Los Angeles, California, in the entertainment business capital, I guess you could say. And I started off at the age of 7 as a child actor, singer, and dancer. And at the age of 7, I had 4 agents and a manager. And I started
wow.
going out for all types of jobs, whether it be commercial, TV, film, live shows, industrials, really anything where there was child performers.
What were you on, like, as a kid? Like, anything we would know?
I did tons of commercials for McDonald's and for Barbie, and I did lots of different TV shows as like a child actor. Did some soaps. I did the show with Aaron Spelling, Models Inc. I was on Broadway. I kind of did really everything there was to do, like I said, as a child performer.
Did you audition for the Mickey Mouse Club?
No, that was actually before my time. I
Oh.
actually watched the Mickey Mouse Club. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I did watch the Mickey Mouse Club. I was a huge fan of that, and Kids Incorporated, which was another huge show for kid performers back in the 90s. And, I was born in 85, and it was really, I'm 35 now. But yeah, I was full on child performer, loving every second of it. And then at the age of 14, I kind of decided, oh God, I've been doing this for 7 years. I've done everything in front of the camera and on stage. And I just really wanted to dive more into my creativity. And I've always had a passion for directing and choreographing and just creating, I guess you could say, whether it was in my room or telling my friends what to do at birthday parties and making them dance and making them perform. And, I was always just into being the boss.
Yeah.
And when I was almost 15 years old, I told my parents, like, I'm done with school. I'm ready to become a choreographer. I've worked. I've made all this money. I have it in the bank, etc. And I got my California proficiency exam, which is equal to 4 years of high school. And that lets you leave school to be your own legal guardian and to be on set for 9.5 hours, longer than 9.5 hours. And to add on to that whole thing, I had to become emancipated to really work on set and, not have to leave after 9.5 hours. So it was a combination of having to wrap up school, get your diploma, and become emancipated, all supported by my parents. Mind you, I have a great relationship with them still to this day. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now.
Wow.
Long story short, after that, I got my first choreography job, which was for Usher, for one of his big tours at that time.
You choreographed the entire show?
Different choreographers come in to choreograph different numbers. So you have different vibes and different styles. But I did a few numbers on that tour at the age of 15, which was an incredible feat to many at that time. And still now when I sit back and think about it, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, I met Robin Anton, who's the creator and founder of the Pussycat Dolls. It was not a pop group at the time. It was a live show on the Sunset Strip at Johnny Depp's Viper Room. And she was getting ready to take it from the Viper Room and move it across the street to the Roxy, the very famous Roxy. Mm-hmm. And she brought me in as an assistant, and I worked my way up with her. And, next thing I knew, the Pussycat Dolls had transformed into a full-fledged pop group on Interscope Records. And kind of my whole insane journey in life kind of started then, and I worked with the girls for about basically their whole longevity as a pop group. And I choreographed every music video from Don'tcha to Buttons to every single one of them, all the way to the most current one, React, 10 years later.
Amazing song, amazing video. I mean, what a comeback, right?
Huge. And it's something that Robin and the whole team had been working on for many, many years, and, took a while to get it going, as those things do. And it happened. It was huge. And we were going to go on tour in April and May, but obviously that did not happen due to the state of the world. But hopefully that will be rescheduled for 2021 when artists go back on road and are performing live on stage.
And who were like your biggest inspirations, like dance inspirations, musical? Like, who were you obsessed with when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, I was obsessed with Paula Abdul first and foremost. Second, Janet Jackson. Third, Madonna, Michael Jackson. You know, really the Prince, the icons, the legends that inspired us all.
Was there like a seminal like music video? When I think of Paula Abdul, I immediately think of the Opposites Attract video. Like the choreography in that video, I remember being so memorable and like doing it with my friends. Like
I love it.
Like what were your favorite music videos in the day?
Favorite, I could tell you right off the bat. Favorite music videos: Paula Abdul, "Cold Hearted Snake," which is inspired by Bob Fosse, my greatest inspiration in life. Another favorite music video was Janet Jackson, "If," choreographed by the incomparable Tina Landon. Favorite music videos: Madonna, "Vogue," iconic, classic, timeless. And I would say those three right there are pretty major.
I mean, you growing up, you must have been obsessed with Truth or Dare and watching just the behind the scenes of the Blonde Ambition tour. Did you ever get to either work with or have the opportunity to meet those guys?
Yeah, actually, funny you bring that up. My first hip hop teacher at the Joe Tremaine Dance Center, which is no longer there, but in North Hollywood, California, my first junior hip hop teacher was Oliver Crooms.
Oh,
and if you know anything about those dancers,
he dated Madonna.
I mean, I don't know exactly the details of that. Definitely he was one of the main dancers on that incredible world tour. And he was one of my first junior hip hop dance teachers as well.
That's amazing that you had Oliver. Oh my God. I mean, those guys are still, did you watch Strike a Pose, that documentary?
I did.
Amazing,
and,
right?
Yeah. I mean, all of those guys from the House of Extravaganza are just so inspiring and so powerful and so creative. And, you know, a lot of them are still around, killing it, doing their thing. And they have been for years. So much props to them for sure.
Speaking of House of Extravaganza, do you watch Pose?
I do. I watch Pose. I watch all of those shows. Ryan Murphy is a genius for putting that all together and putting it out there so the universe can check out what some of us already know and have been inspired by. So I love Pose. I love the new HBO Max series Legendary. It's great about all of the ballroom and all of that. I really suggest people go out and check that out because it's just dope.
Okay, so when I think of you, there's somebody else who pops in my mind. In my mind, I just kind of like compare the two of you guys, just almost like savants in a way in terms of dance and choreography. Wade Robson.
Yeah, I've actually known Wade since I was 7 years old. I did my very first job ever with Wade. He was 10 years old and I was 7, and he had just moved here from Australia. He is a dear friend. He was then, and I still consider him to be. He's a huge talent. He's done incredible things. And I've literally known him since the very first set that I ever walked onto.
What was the project that you guys worked on together?
Oh, it was nothing that you're going to be excited about. It was called Tony T's dance instructional video for Tokyo. And can you find it? I have no idea.
That's actually really cute. I mean, that is something to dig up and like put on Instagram. Like, that's really cute, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have no idea. Like, you know, after we shot it, who knows? But and it feels like 5 lifetimes ago. But yeah, shout out to Tony T if you're out there.
I mean, Wade's career. I mean, he was a brilliant songwriter. Like the work that he did with Britney and NSYNC, Justin Timberlake. I remember the Pussycat Dolls, they did like a Vegas show. Did you work with Kim Kardashian? Like, I think she did an appearance. Were you part of that at all?
I started working with Robin in about 2001, 2002, when she took the live show to the Roxy. And that's when all the celebrities started to join the show, from Christina Applegate, Carmen Electra, Charlize Theron, Christina Aguilera, Gwen Stefani, Brittany Murphy, rest in peace. And then after that, we did tons of shows with tons of celebrities. And Kim Kardashian was definitely one of them. She is a good friend to Robin and the Pussycat Dolls family. She's fabulous. She did do the show in Vegas. We had a club at Pure Nightclub. And then that was our first Vegas show. And then our second Vegas show was at Planet Hollywood. But Kim came and filmed for Keeping Up her cameo in the Las Vegas show. Yeah. And she looked incredible. She has the best body, the most gorgeous face. The bottom line is she's a performer. She's an entertainer. And we love Kim Kardashian.
And also, by the way, just one final thing on Kim. You know, all this, you know, at the time of recording this, all this Kanye stuff is coming out. I will add, she is a fucking good woman.
I love Kim. She's incredible, and I have nothing but nice and kind and sweet, incredible things to say about her. Yeah. She's an awesome, awesome role model.
So here's the $1 million question. Were you a fan of the Housewives before Erika was cast on it? Like lurking in the background, I guess, while you were working with Erika, you know, in this transition from Erika Girardi to Erika Jayne pre-show, were you like a fan of the franchise in general?
I've been watching Bravo forever. I've been watching Housewives since Orange County started, first season. I love girl groups my whole life. I've worked with really great girl groups, as we just kind of went over: Pussycat Dolls, Girlicious, Paradiso Girls, GRL, Saloon. I mean, there's tons. And my whole life has always been working with females of all different ages. So yes, Housewives franchise was something naturally, obviously, I would watch on television because I love girls. I love girls going out to dinner and drinking and having fun and shopping and living lifestyle and fabulosity and fighting and Bad Girls Club. And that's just like right up the Mikey Minden alley. That's my shit. That's my shit right there.
What was your favorite franchise?
I mean, I think that Atlanta brings something very specific and fun to watch. I think that New York brings something very specific and fun to watch. I think Orange County does the same. I think Beverly Hills does the same thing as well. All the different cities offer a different aesthetic and take on women and women's culture. So I don't know if I have exactly a favorite, to be honest.
Did you have like a favorite wife? Like I'm thinking, you know, big picture wise, you know, obviously like LVP, you know, she really was the OG of Beverly Hills. I think of Bethany, you know, Candy, you know, especially, you know, because she was in a girl group. Like, who were your favorite actual housewives?
I think a standout housewife for me has always been Nene in Atlanta. I think that she brings it. I think that she's great on camera, personality. Who else? Let me think about that for a second. Nene's the one that pops to the front of my brain as of right this second. But let me marinate on that for a second. I'll give you a couple at the end of this interview.
Isn't it amazing that Candy has been on? I mean, considering that she has the most legitimate career of any housewife pre-show, isn't it amazing that she's been on for like 1 million seasons at this point?
Candy's a very smart businesswoman, and she knows exactly how to run her whole life, and people should really take notice of that. She's a very talented, smart, inspiring woman.
So, okay, you got to walk me through it. Like, how did you meet Erika Girardi?
I actually met Erika through there's two different connections. She had a kind of a co-manager at the time, and I had known him from other previous projects that he had worked on. And I think also she had seen, you know, some of my work with Pussycat Dolls at the time. They were bigger than ever. We're talking like 2008, 2009, in that pocket. And she had been working with another creative director, and I think that had run its course. And we got linked up by the universe magically, and we had our first meeting at the Beverly Hills Hotel, which is kind of fitting if you think about it years later.
Totally. And like, what was your like, what was she, can you actually like remember that meeting? Like, what was she wearing? Like, what was she talking to you about? Like, what were her dreams and your dreams for her at that time?
listen, on a first meeting, no one's really getting into their dreams on either side because you're literally meeting a stranger for the first time. But I will say that when we met, it felt like it was just meant to be. And as they say in Yiddish, it was beshert. And we just like, I feel like I'd known her forever, like previous lifetimes ago. And same with her. She's a Cancer. I'm a Pisces. We're both water signs. And we really hit it off creatively just from the jump. And it was like any long-standing creative relationship. You grow together and you create together. And we started off doing a music video together for one of her songs called Give You Everything. And then we kind of transformed from there into doing some live shows. And we did, I think, like if it was San Francisco Pride on the main stage, which was huge, and LA Pride and a few other things. And it just, we just became more friendly and continue to work together all the time. And it just kind of grew and grew and grew and grew and grew.
So did you initially just start out like choreographing for her and it evolved into you taking on the role as creative director? That's
correct. And it's a lot of people in this entertainment business, creative director is a very broad title. Depends on, are you working in marketing? Are you working in advertising? Are you working in fashion? Are you working with performers like I do? There's all different types of creative directors. So yes, I started off as her choreographer. And from there, it just naturally grew and grew and grew. And as a choreographer, as something that I've always done for all my artists is, for me, there's a huge focus on the costume, the hair, the makeup, the lighting, the scenic background, the people around you. It's part of almost being a choreographer that people don't really talk about. Being a choreographer is not just coming up with the 5, 6, 7, 8. That's just only one little part. So yes, I started off as a choreographer. We did tons of great work together. And then the first thing that I directed for her was the Pretty Mess music video.
Right. Mm-hmm. Amazing. So did she have that album? Was her album out yet, or was it just a few like offhand singles?
No, Erika released an album called Pretty Mess that's out there on iTunes, and everyone can go download and stream it if you're listening. But yeah, Give You Everything and Pretty Mess and
Roller Coaster. That's a great song.
Yeah, Roller Coaster and Stars, which she did prior to us knowing each other. Those are all on her first debut album, Pretty Mess.
I guess what is the most, like, who were the creative directors that you learned from? Like, who were your, like, greatest teachers at that time? Or at least, like, inspiration-wise, in terms of, like, the actual look and the creative direction of an artist? Like, who was an artist that you felt just nailed it in every... at every angle, in terms of like the look, the feel, the lighting, the moves, like everything as you're describing?
Madonna is like the queen of reinventing herself, transformation, putting on a show, always keeping it new and interesting and different, whether fans or the audience responds to it or not. But I love Madonna, period, end of story. And she knows exactly how to do it.
What do you think was Madonna's best tour?
Confessions. The Confessions tour is my favorite. I mean, her coming down from the ceiling out of a disco ball, landing on stage is one of the best openings ever, period. To me, that was just, when I saw that live, I lost my mind. But other than Madonna, I mean, Bob Fosse, like I said earlier, is like the ultimate inspiration, the ultimate creator. I mean, it's just, his work speaks to me in ways that others don't.
Like, what was your involvement with Erika relating, you're speaking of Fosse, like what was your involvement with her leading up to Chicago?
Well, Erika was super, super, super ready for Chicago. I mean, if there was a job that was meant for her, it was Roxy Hart in Chicago on Broadway.
Totally.
End of story.
Yeah.
And they have a great team of vocal coaches and dance coaches. I mean, that's a very, very, very well-oiled machine. So they provided all of the training that any celebrity or star would need to go into that incredible show. So I was there for her as a friend, as she could bounce things off of me. She could send me videos of her rehearsing and just all the different things that, a creative director / best friend would do for your client that's like embarking on this, once in a lifetime opportunity.
Did you have much time? Like, I remember you came to New York, I assume, to see her in the show. Like, did you guys have much downtime in the city? Obviously I actually went to her opening night. It was amazing.
Oh, how cool.
Amazing. And
love that.
Actually, wait a second. I'm actually remembering that Erika and Janet Jackson, like, there was some moment there. Like, there's actually a photo of them from the Chicago era. How did that happen?
Erika and Janet share one of the same makeup artists, Preston Manessis. He's incredible. We've been working with Preston for 100 years. He's created some of the best makeup looks for her sit-down interviews on the show that you would recognize. And he happened to be with Janet in New York, and they worked that out, and they came and saw the show and had a good old time.
Amazing. And did you and Erika like go out at all in the city? Like, was there time for that?
I didn't live there with her. I only came 3 times. Obviously, both 3 times I came, I saw her in the show, and we did press for other things. And also she filmed her sit-down interview for Housewives.
Got it.
So it was just work trips for me. I came in for a couple of days. We did what we needed to do on her off days. And then I came back to LA to do all the stuff that I'm doing over here.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, like, what is your involvement in the confessionals? Like, what do you do for her when she has to do that part of the gig?
Well, the most important thing is I create the looks that you guys are sitting down and watching that become like iconic pop culture television moments.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I put together the look with our stylist and the hair and the makeup, and we go over references and inspiration and ideas, and we talk about things that we've done before or would like to do, and does it fit, and is now the time or is now not the time. It's a whole thing that we have a meeting and we talk about everything to create these looks, as opposed to just like throwing on a top that you got at the mall and curling your hair, which, people do.
Right. Are you watching the current season of New York, by the way?
I am. How could you not?
Okay, so when you just said that, it made me think. And listen, I love her to death, and I'm sure you do too. It made me think of Leah McSweeney, who in one of the at-home confessionals, she's literally wearing just like a sweatshirt, a Married to the Mob sweatshirt.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, I've been watching this Bravo for 100 years and watching these franchises, and everyone has their own style of how they do things, and that's great for them. Obviously, for myself and for Erika, she is a full-on showgirl. She is a full-on performer. She's theatrical. She's dramatic. She's over the top. And that's really what sets her apart from everyone, period.
So I know you're usually right there on set with her when she's filming those confessionals. How did you guys navigate, once the pandemic hit and they were required to film them all from home, how did the two of you navigate that?
That was a little different because quarantine is quarantine. Everything was handled different. It's a beautiful thing called FaceTime. One word, FaceTime. You can be anywhere where you need to be. I mean, I'm dealing with a client who's shooting a music video in New York right now. I was on FaceTime with her earlier.
Yeah.
It's Zoom, it's FaceTime, it's all the other forms of media that everyone is using to continue their lives. So easy.
So you're this huge Bravo fan. You're working with Erika. She's doing lots of like one-off live shows, all these Pride festivals. And then suddenly she gets an offer to be on Beverly Hills. I mean, do you just lose your shit?
It was very exciting. I was very excited for her because I know what a great platform Bravo and Housewives of all cities is and are for girls that have been on it in the past and present and future. It's huge. I knew it was going to be a great thing for her.
And did you just immediately have the vision that like we are going to, because I really feel that Erika reinvented the confessional.
100%. 100%. I knew that we were going to kill it in the confessionals, but this is just kind of what Erika and I do. This is not an act. This is not something that we're over the top emphasizing for the cameras. This is how she lives her life. This is how I live my life. And the cameras are capturing it.
Outside of Beverly Hills, who do you think does the best confessional work?
Yeah, for me, Atlanta brings it home, period. They put a lot of time and energy into their looks, whether they may be right or wrong. I'm talking about their looks, but they put a lot of time and energy into it, which I appreciate. And I just love their humor. I love their sass. I love their attitude. It's right up my alley.
Can we talk about the Erika Jayne, Christina Aguilera connection?
Sure.
So this is actually quite funny, and I remember I had actually had a moment with you in person. So I went to the opening night of Christina Aguilera's residency in Vegas.
Okay.
And I told the story on the podcast how I kind of like just had a feeling like just like a psychic feeling that Erika was going to be there. I was like, it just makes sense. She's going to be there. Lo and behold, she's there. You guys were sitting like very close to us. It was amazing. I remember I like gave you like a peace sign. I was like, Mikey, I love you. It was so fun.
We were having a good time that night. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So how did Erika and Christina come together in this way? I mean, like, walk me through like how they formed this friendship.
Once again, we share makeup artists. And one thing that you have to understand about the entertainment business is that hair and makeup people and people like myself are the ones that tie all of these really fun friendships together. So in this case, to answer your question, it was through a shared makeup artist, Etienne Ortega, who we both, Christina and Erika, still use and love. He's incredible. And he kind of hooked it up. If I'm remembering correctly, I think she went down to The Voice when Christina was on The Voice a couple of years ago, and they just hit it off. And she asked Erika to perform at her birthday party one year, a few years back, and that was great. And they just have always kept in touch, you know. And then she invited Erika to come down for the opening of her Vegas residency, and we had a good time. Let me tell you,
amazing. And I also remember Erika was on Lip Sync Battle and performed Fighter.
Oh yeah, I forgot we did that.
Yeah, like she performed Fighter, and Christina was there, like, you know, as a judge or whatever. That was like in it. Yeah, everyone should like actually like YouTube that. It's kind of
that was an incredible episode. Yeah, it was a tribute to Christina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really cool if they could like record something together, or if she could like do something in a video. Like that would actually be really cool.
How about from your mouth to God's ears? Let's put it that way.
Like, what's your actual music taste? You know, for like music that's out now.
I love female rap. My favorite. How about this? My 2019 top artist on Spotify was the City Girls. So if anyone out there listening knows the City Girls, then you know what type of music I like. I like it ratchet. I like a hard 808 beat. And that's what Mikey listens to in his Benz rolling around LA. Hardcore rap music.
So who else aside from City Girls?
I love City Girls. I love Nicki Minaj. Obviously, if we're talking about female rappers, I love myself some Cardi B. I love Drake. I love DaBaby. I love Lil Baby. I love, you know, just that whole genre. I'm super into hip hop and R&B, but obviously I love all my divas. I love Kylie Minogue. I love Madonna. You know, got to sprinkle that in there for some upbeat moments.
Did you hear that this news is like just coming out this week that Madonna and Kylie like collaborated in some way, and then it's going to be out in August?
That would be epic.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that, but I thank you for letting me know, because I will be streaming / downloading Madonna Kylie collab the minute I really see it on my social media.
Tell me what other artists you work with.
Totally. So right now I'm super excited about two clients that I'm working with, one being Nikita Dragon. And if you don't know who Nikita Dragon is, you guys should all go look her up on Instagram. She has a bajillion followers, and she is just like the ultimate fantasy. And I love my work with Nikita Dragon. And we have some really exciting things coming up, and we've done some cool content stuff on that she's posted on her Instagram, and I have mine as well. So that I'm very excited about. And also I am co-collaborating with my partner, Robin Anton, who we do Pussycat Dolls together, I spoke about earlier. And we are working with the artist Pia Mia, and she is on Republic Records, and on Instagram, she's Princess Pia Mia. And we have some really cool stuff in the works for her as well right now. But that's what I'm doing currently, as well as like Erika and everything else, and just also living in a world pandemic and all of that stuff. But over the years, I've worked with Pitbull and Pink and Maya and Paris Hilton, Hilary Duff, K. Michelle, Amber Rose, Keisha Cole, Carmen Electra, Havana Brown, Usher, lots and lots and lots of people.
Tell me about your work with Pink.
Pink, I did a video with also my partner Robin Anton for her music videos called Trouble. It was a Western theme music video. I don't remember what year it was.
Yeah, one of her best songs, by the way.
It was a great song. It was a great video. She's incredibly just like kind of the coolest chick on the planet. And she was a guest star in our Pussycat Dolls live show at some point a few times. So worked with her a few times.
Were you a huge MTV person in the day? Like,
oh my God, MTV was my Bible. Are you kidding me? It's all about MTV.
Don't you think nowadays music videos, it's almost like, did it even happen? Like, I think about videos that come out. Of course, they premiere on either, Vimeo or Vivo or YouTube. And it's so not really of the conversation, and they're usually not, they're so distant even from the music compared to in the day how it was so connected to the music. I'm thinking about like Nirvana, and then of course all the pop queens. Is that just like the nature of the way in general and the way entertainment, just that it has to be so hyper quick cuts rather than just like taking your time, being patient, holding the camera on something longer than 2 seconds?
Yeah, I agree with you, Jess. And I think it's sad that I guess you could say that time has kind of come and go. And I don't really think, as of we're sitting here talking today, that it's going to go back to that 80s, 90s, style of music and music videos and people sitting down and watching world premieres of music videos like we used to do with Michael Jackson and Aerosmith and all these just huge iconic artists. Everything is now on your phone. Like you said, it's quick. And we're Spotifying, we're Vivoing, we're YouTubing. It's just a different world that we live in. And you got to roll with the punches. Everyone's got to accept it. And if you want to stay in this business, you got to keep up with the Joneses.
You were saying how you were a huge Bravo fan in general from back in the day. Like what non-Housewives shows? Like I'm really like, I love talking to people about like
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I love talking to people like that first wave of Bravo. Those shows. Like I just interviewed Jackie Warner from Workout. And it was just like unbelievable because I was a huge fan of Workout. Like, what were your favorite Bravo shows?
I mean, I remember, I always loved Jeff Lewis and Flipping Out. I thought that was always great. Honestly, I really got a kick out of Some Millionaire Matchmaker, Patty Stanger. One of my most favorite Bravo shows was honestly the Rachel Zoe Project. I thought that was just done so well. And she's just like literally, in her words, the best TV ever, like bananas. We love Rachel Zoe around here. And I've always, I think Housewives though was what really kind of brought me to all of that stuff on Bravo.
Mm-hmm. Which wives or which housewives have you spent the most time with or gotten to hang with and actually like formed a genuine connection, friendship with over these years?
I think over the years, I think that Kyle was very, very welcoming and sweet to Erika when she first joined the cast. And she came with us to Mykonos, which was an awesome experience. It was something that we were just doing in Erika Jayne world. And obviously, like I said earlier, the cameras captured it and followed us. And Erika invited Kyle, and that was really just a great overall trip. So I feel like Kyle's always been super, super sweet, super, super cool. Love her. And then I think over the years too, Rinna, we've become really close with Rinna, and she's just super cool. I love Lisa Rinna and only have great positive things to say about her.
Tell me about your favorite, your inspirations growing up, into this dancer choreographer. Were there any like documentaries aside, we talked about Truth or Dare and I'm sure Paris is Burning was a big influence in the day. Were there any movies or documentaries that were a huge impact on you?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny that you brought up Paris is Burning. That's a documentary that someone showed to me literally at the age of 14 as I was making that transition out of high school into like being a full-on adult on my own. And I just always thought about those kids in that documentary who had to give up their whole lives just to be who they were as like a gay man or trans. And it's like they had it so intensely difficult. And the fact that they overcame so much just to live their life and live their passion and be their true self was so inspiring at that time, and honestly still is to this day. I mean, it couldn't be more true, especially in the world that we live in 2020 right now. But yes, I mean, the art form that they created in these ballrooms in the Lower East Side of New York, downtown in the middle of the night, I mean, that is so inspirational because that work is still prevalent today in all the music videos that we see and tours and TikTok and just the way that people move their bodies and dance. What they created, those magical nights in those ballrooms, we are still living today. So yes, that was a huge inspiration, seeing Paris is Burning from actually when I was going to Alvin Ailey at the time, living in New York, in Harlem, off 125th Street with red cornrow braids, mind you, at the time, walking around Harlem, taking the subway. I don't even know what I thought I was doing. But again, I was living my dream, living my full fantasy, and no one was telling me nothing. So Paris is Burning is very close to my heart, just like Truth or Dare is very close to my heart. I'm trying to think of, is there another documentary that really kind of like did it for me at that time?
There's actually a new one out. It just came out on Netflix called Disclosure. Did you see that?
I love Disclosure. I recommend anyone who's listening to go watch Disclosure. It's incredible. I actually posted about it after I watched it because it's so important that people really get educated on everything.
So what years were you mentioned that you were on Broadway. What years were you living in New York City?
Oh, God, that really feels like 100 years ago when I was in New York. I was very, very young. I was about 9 or 10. So it had to be like mid 90s.
Okay. Oh, so that's why you were saying that like you must have been crazy to take the subway because you were like 9 or 10.
Well, no, I lived at two different times when I did Broadway, and then years later when I trained and went to Alvin Ailey. I would go during the summers of when I was 13 and 14. Okay. And that's when I was really kind of, you're a teenager, you got a head on your shoulders, or so you think. And I was just out there living my best life with my best friend here from LA. And we went to go train at Alvin Ailey's during the summer. And it was just an awesome experience. Very eye-opening and life-changing, to be honest.
Where did you guys, so at that time you were living in Harlem when you were studying at Alvin Ailey?
That is correct.
I'm a lifelong New Yorker, so I love talking to guests about like their New York, their hardcore New York experiences when New York was really, really New York in the 80s and the 90s. So tell me, like, what were your favorite spots to go out? I know you were still young, but like, where are you guys going out at night?
Well, we to be honest with you, Jess, we were not at this time when I was on Broadway and training. I was not going out at night, but it wasn't until years later when I came back working with like all the different clients and artists that I worked with, where I experienced the whole nightlife side of New York. Well, I feel like there used to be a night at Splash, which is a gay club, which is no longer open. Splash, I'm sure you know. And it was Wednesday night, I think, and it was a hip hop night. So that was just like my favorite night to go out, with the gays and just have a good old time with the boys, because they played the music that I liked. Like I said earlier, I like hip hop, I like rap, I like 808, I like that bass. Mm-hmm. And that was the only night that they were bumping that, as opposed to like your typical four on the floor dance songs. So that's I had many a night at Splash on their hip hop night. And, kind of really all over New York. I mean, sometimes it's a blur. I'm going to be completely honest, especially back in those days. I just kind of like, you go where the night takes you, as you know, in New York City. You end up going to 4 places in one night.
Yeah. One of my favorite, just hearing you like sort of describe this, one of my favorite MTV specials, it was when Britney was promoting I think it was the In the Zone album. MTV did a special called In the Zone and Out All Night. And in this, do you remember this at all?
I don't. Okay,
so in this MTV special, Britney goes to, I think, 3 different clubs and performs a song, you know, one song at each place. And she actually performed at Splash.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. I mean, every diva on the planet has performed at Splash. So, I mean, I would not put it past her.
If you're in, like, you have to like go on YouTube and just Britney
I will
Spears.
for sure. When I get home later, I will check this out.
Yeah, like it's called In the Zone and Out All Night. And it again, like just going, she literally stays out all night, like performing at these clubs. You know, try getting Britney Spears in and out of like Splash.
Totally.
Like 3 a.m.
Nightmare.
So what is the next big thing that we're going to see, like out of the Mikey Minden conglomerate?
I've got this for you. So obviously I'm going to continue to working with all of my divas of all ages, of all different medias, whether it be TV, film, commercial, or music. Obviously that's kind of my brand first and foremost, making girls hot and sexy and confident and giving them that Mikey Minden signature stamp. But beyond that, I actually have a couple TV projects in the works that I can't disclose fully. Obviously, I know it's the cliche answer, but you just never can, especially with TV, until it's popping off and you guys are on set. You can't really put that energy out there. But yeah, I have a concept or 2 that I have in the works with a network or 2.
Amazing.
And that is really kind of my focus, as this world is in a different place right now and we can't all be in person and perform live and shoot things with a huge crews and all of those things that we're having to work within parameters in the entertainment industry. So TV's always been a big love of mine. I love reality TV. I love Bravo. I love E. I love all of that. I love pop culture. So it's only natural that I kind of segue into producing and creating some of my own content for reality TV.
You know, I've been saying for a long time that Erika is one of the most primed for a spinoff. Rather than being on an ensemble show, I feel like they really could center a show on her, Mikey, and the crew, the Pretty Mess crew. And that, I mean, I don't know if this is the thing that's in the works, but like, I mean, I've been literally saying this for years that like, that is something I would watch the hell out of.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. It's actually not what's in the works, but like I said earlier, from your lips to God's ears, if it was right and it made sense for everyone involved, I think it would be highly entertaining. So let's just, manifest positive things.
What you said that you're a huge fan of reality TV in general. Like, what else do you watch?
Well, I love Kardashians. I don't think you can be a pop culture fanatic without knowing about everything Kardashian. And I think that they've done such a great job for over 10 years at producing great television and keeping things current. And I think that their fashion and hair and makeup choices are always stand out, and so many different people copy them. So kudos and hats off to them. So I love me some Kardashians. What else? Oh, you know what I used to love is Toddlers and Tiaras, which is no longer on, but I forgot if that was on TLC or whatever it was on, but that was a great show. I actually loved Dance Moms, and I was actually on Dance Moms for 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was great programming, and that was fun to be a part of that.
Were you like a coach on Dance Moms?
I worked with Nia. She was one of the main girls since the very beginning, and she was stepping into singing and dancing at the same time, a la music videos and some live performances. So me and Aubrey O'Day, actually, who's a good friend, Aubrey helped her with the music and I helped her with the visuals and putting all that together in the performance. And we did some fun stuff with Nia, and then I went on and did some stuff with her also in Australia and some other music videos. So
that's so funny that you watched Toddlers and Tiaras. Like, I never.
Oh yeah, that was actually one of my favorites, and actually one of Erika's favorites too. We totally connected on our love for pageantry.
I guess she is the ultimate sort of show. Like you said, she's the ultimate showgirl.
Erika's the mega ultimate grand supreme, and I'll leave that there.
I love it. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
You can find me at Mikey Minden across all social media platforms. That's MikeyMinden. And my website, MikeyMinden.com.
This is so fun. Thank you so much. I'm glad that we finally had our moment.
I'm so glad we got to have our moment. And hopefully when I'm in NYC next time, we can have a drink and say hi in person.
I would love it.
And thank you for being a supporter of Mikey and Erika Jayne. We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Guys, you can follow me, Jess X NYC. Be sure to follow the show account, Hot Takes Deep Dives on Insta, for all the episodes that I release a couple times a week. Promote them in the stories and on the main feed. Be sure to comment. I love hearing from you. And I'll see you soon.